Okay, so example 1. Solve 3x squared minus 2x plus 5 equals 0. First, I write down whatever is in this middle term, the variable part of this middle term, goes right here. Always write that down. You write down what you're computing before you compute it. It's a good general rule. People want to focus on the complicated part, and they leave this part off. Write that down first. That'll become really important because sometimes this isn't x here. It'll be something else. It might be a combination of variables. It could be x squared or something. You need an x squared there. Right? If this is x squared and this is x to the fourth, that's an x squared there. Okay, and you'll see some of those later in the course. So at this point, it's just x, so just write the x down. X equals, this is the opposite of b, so that's 2. Then we'll have plus or minus square root of b squared. Now, b squared is actually the quantity negative 2 squared, but that's going to be 4, so I just wrote 2 squared because I didn't want to write the parentheses with the minus because it's going to, we're squaring it, so it comes out the same anyway. Minus 4ac, right? 4 times a times c divided by 2 times a, 2 times this one, a. So there's always a minus 4 here. There's always a 2 here. Okay, so I simplified it. I'm starting to simplify it this way. Now, you might wonder why I didn't take the 4 times the 15. That's because there's a common factor of 4 here. So I can factor it out and then do the square root of it and get 2. And it's just easier than if I multiply this out and subtract it, I'll still have a factor of 4, but then I've got a larger number I need to find the factor of 4 from. So I just did it this way. It doesn't matter. You could do it the other way. You can multiply the 4 times 15 if you want. So I factored out the 4, and then you do the square root of 4 and you get a 2. It looks like this. See? And the inside is obviously a square root of negative 14. Now what did I do here? I didn't just cross off a bunch of 2's. What I'm doing is the 2 on the bottom, I'm dividing the 2 2's on top by the 2 on the bottom. So I'm dividing each term on top, there's only 2 of them, by the 2 on the bottom. You can do that. So I get x equals 1 plus or minus square root of negative 14 over the whole thing over 3. And then I need to bring out that I from the square root of negative 14. So I get x equals 1 plus or minus square root of 14 I, the whole thing over 3. And usually we would leave it in this form rather than put it in standard form. Remember, standard form is a plus bi. It's just when we use the quadratic formula, it's kind of traditional to leave it in this form. So that's correct. And it doesn't say to write it in standard form anyway. The problem won't. Okay, so solve 2x cubed plus x squared plus 5x equals 0. Now the thing here is this isn't a quadratic, it's a what we call a cubic. It's a third degree polynomial. But you'll notice that there's a common factor of x in all terms. So we can factor out the common factor. Okay, so we get x times the quantity 2x squared plus 1x plus 5 equals 0. And I just wrote the 1x. I don't usually write that, but I wrote it in there just so you can see what the b is. So a is 2, b is 1, c is 5. Now the x, you just get x equals 0. You set each factor equal to 0, right? So you get x equals 0, and you get 2x squared plus 1x plus 5 equals 0. The second one, we can use a quadratic formula on it because it doesn't factor. At least not with integers. Okay, so I'm going to have x equals opposite of b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. Right? 4ac right, over 2 times this 2. and we simplify that. Right, so we get minus 1 plus or minus square root of 39i over 4. And then I just wrote down what I was saying before about the form of the answer. This is just so that if you're reviewing this on the PDF files, you'll have it written out for you. Customary to leave solutions obtained from the quadratic formula in this form rather than in standard form.